What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the post-mortem of the game where we try and break down that crock of shit, whatever it is that we've just watched between United and Newcastle. We have been beat 1-0, but to be fair, it probably should have been more considering the amount of chances that Newcastle had created. Goals from Anthony Gordon, aka Shirley from Coronation Street, or EastEnders, I can't remember which one it was. Has basically put us away. Newcastle go above us in the table. I think we currently sit 8th. I need to double check it. But just from my perspective, lads, and again, disagree with me, agree with me, whatever you want. Lazy, not committed to the press at all. Players look disinterested. Worrying times in terms of on the pitch, certain tactics. I'm not seeing a kind of clear style anymore. Certain players still getting game time for whatever reasons, and many other things. Sorry to kind of pick at. Chivy, where's your head at with this United team at the minute? Because it doesn't seem to be getting better, does it? At all.
No, the definition of insanity, correct me if I'm wrong, is like doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this is what I'm seeing now. It's
Yeah.
the same bloody thing every single time and expecting a different result. And we can't keep doing that. Now, the reason why we're where we are on the table, or why at some point it looks like we're just 6 points off the top,
Yeah.
is because of the teams we played. You know, we played Burnley, Sheffield,
Luton.
Luton. Every time we face someone that's similar to us, or slightly on our level, we fold.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a fact, and that's what's happened the whole time. I mean, this. You asked me where my head is at. Like I told you guys last time, when we were in the chat, like I'm checked out already. I'm completely
with the manager as well.
Yeah, with the manager completely. I have no expectations from this guy anymore.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of things, because I'm not seeing now the reason why it's not because we're playing shit and I'm just like, okay, you know what? The thing is, I'm seeing a massive issue here, and game after game he fails to address this issue. So this is why there's nothing for me to believe in. Like I need something to hold on to, I can't just blindly follow this guy.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's
No,
not
I
like
agree.
I want to, but I it's the way this is how my brain is set up. I need to see something, and I'm not seeing anything. If I was his boss, yeah.
So I was thinking, what was the most out of everything? Because there was loads of shit to get through. Yeah. But for you, what was the most concerning part about that performance? I know it's hard to kind of pick one thing, but
it's. I think like you said, it's hard to pick one thing because of how good Newcastle looked, and they are in a similar situation with us in terms of injuries. They didn't make a single change against PSG, and they made one change towards the end of the game today, but they pressed better than us. Everything they did had a purpose.
Yes.
So I don't know if I can highlight what Newcastle did to kind of show what we didn't do, because there's so much. So everything Newcastle did had a purpose. Whether it was attacking, whether it was defending, whether it was the press, whether it was running back after they'd made an attack, everything had a purpose, and it looked like they didn't have to think hard to put together patterns of play, because they understood where everybody else was at a certain time, and everything they did was a complete shadow to what we did. And there was a time when we had the ball, I remember this, and okay, we had the ball, and I was trying to say, okay, what are we doing? And there was absolutely nothing. It was just like we're making it up as we went on.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there's so many things I wouldn't want it, because I'll keep going on the tandem. But yeah, I think you get the picture.
Well, yeah, we can. It's that many things we can dive into it separately. But Sam, got a record here for you. Manchester United away to last season top 9 and current top 9 this season. Played 12, won 0, drew 1, lost 11.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Chivy, I don't know where to start. There's so many things that I could go into and be like, this is why, but at the end of the day, it's a combination of pretty much all of them, and it's continuing on, and it doesn't seem to be any way of stopping it. There's certain players who I think need a seriously fucking reality check, and to be not only dropped out of the squad but dropped out of the fucking like training and stuff. Just get him out of this fucking club, because the lack of effort, the lack of quality, the lack of fight in a lot of these players is shocking, like absolutely shocking. When Harry Maguire stands up and above everybody and looks like your best player, that's not good enough. Like, that ain't good enough. This was a guy that we were all like rightfully saying this, he's not good enough for this club, and he looks like our best player right now.
He was the captain.
Yeah. And it's fucking like, I'm sure we're getting into individuals like at some point, because there's some players there that are just, I don't understand how they're still getting in games. I don't get it, and I don't know what Ten Hag is thinking. Like, I don't know what he's trying to prove and what point he has. It
doesn't seem like there's a plan, does there?
No, I don't. Like, he must see that. Like, for example, we'll get into Scott McTominay, but he must see Scott McTominay putting in dog shit performances week after fucking week after fucking week after fucking week. But because he scored a couple of goals, that makes you can just play shit for the rest of the minutes you're on the pitch.
The thing is, I know McTominay is considered like a bit of a striker, and in the younger days he was a striker. You see the similar situation, we speak about Joe Linton in chat, right? Joe Linton's been converted from a striker to a midfielder. He looked fucking miles ahead. Even in little things like street smarts on the pitch, knowing what to do, you know, when to go down, when to do certain things, just miles apart.
How bad do you have to feel for Kobe Mainoo as well, man? That poor fucking kid was trying to hold that midfield together by himself as an 18-year-old.
Well, the wing backs as well, Sam. I think the wing backs, I felt sorry for them, because the wingers in front of him are not putting the legwork in.
No.
When you go to a place like that, I've seen loads of people saying it at the minute. When you go to a place like that, you have to put the legwork in. You have to graft to get a result there, because we could not match them in their energy, intensity, even on the ball when they got it. We was miles away from them, and that's a concerning thing. Sorry, when you go into a run of fixtures that we are against. We've got Liverpool at Anfield coming up. We've got Chelsea coming up. We've got Bayern Munich at Old Trafford coming up, and you're putting in like performances like that. It doesn't fill you with any confidence whatsoever. And it's very rare where I agree with Jermaine Genius, right? But he's just nailed it on that right here. A complete contrast between the two teams tonight. One team had fight, togetherness, cohesion, and energy all throughout the side. Look across the pitch, and the other team had absolutely none of that. Bang on. Absolutely bang on.
It's true.
Individuals, Chive, talk to me a little bit about Marcus Rashford, if you can, and what you thought of him today.
We always seem to fall into this trap, and I fell into this trap as well myself today when I saw the lineup, because we've been struggling to have anything on the right hand side. And when I saw the lineup with Marcus Rashford on the right, I was like, okay, I kind of like this, like, for some reason.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about the performances he's been putting in. and he just, I don't know how you can justify that. Like, let's just take this into perspective now. Has Jadon Sancho played that bad on the right hand side this season? Well, the few times he played, he was nowhere near that bad. Yeah, but this guy keeps getting chances and chances. So what's more important? If you're training well or if you're playing well, what's more important?
Do you think it's gone from almost stubbornness to now stupidness, consistently sticking with Rashford now? It has to be
with the manager.
Yeah,
it's stubbornness. It's absolute and he's managed to fracture this. He's managed to break that dressing room in pieces now, because the Jadon Sancho thing has divided the squad. Like, we've heard the reports about how some players are sort of like on his side, and how it's divided opinion. And Marcus, well, let's just stick to the question here with Marcus Rashford. I don't think I really need to say anything, because anybody who watched that can see what happened. Every time he gets the ball goes to die in attack. Livramento is a right back. He played left back today and had a field day. In the 51st minute, I remember I marked it clearly, when Livramento jinks away from Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford strolls. He walks. He kind of goes, oh, right, he's gone. He does his hands like that, he's gone. and he walks.
Do you see
And
the
what-
you see the other one, Chivy, where something similar thing happened? He doesn't even walk, but he does like that half dad run. Do you know where they look like they're running, but they're not actually moving?
It's the same. It's the same situation because you put in the
Yeah,
in the
I was-
you put in the chat shortly after that happened, and I was like, well, that is an indictment. And mark my words, he'll start the next game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He'll start the next game.
Here's a stat for you. Again, I know some of you aren't fan of stats, but this is shocking. In 5 games, we've conceded 95 shots. 95 shots in 5 guys. Unbelievable.
Now, and if we've considered 95 shots, and our defense has been actually the better part of our game in recent games, like we've held teams off, we've tried to defend. Then what does that tell you? That means the midfield is non-existent. If we've considered 95 shots in 5 games and we haven't seen a change in how we're playing, what am I supposed to believe in then?
Yeah.
Because we haven't changed anything. So what am I believing in? What? Just somebody convinced me to believe in this guy. I can't just hope he gets it better.
Yeah. I can't. I've backed him a lot. I'm not doing all this nonsense and theatrical stuff.
Yeah, of course. I'm never going to call him a bomb.
Yeah, I'm not doing all that shit. But
Yeah.
it's getting to a point now, at least with myself, where it's at least questionable, and you have to start putting it out there and having the debate, because you can't just keep watching these performances. And when he's back, if he weren't backing the same players and he was switching it about and he's bringing in different personnel and trying different things on the pitch tactically that you could see with a naked eye, I'd be like, right, okay, you can see he's at least, he's doing this, he's switching this up, he's changed the system a little bit. Because last season, I remember, the very start when he first came in, we lost the first 2 games to Brighton and Brentford, right? And we started going a bit more direct. There was a few tactical tweaks, brought in certain players, dropped big players as well. And we started winning games. Now, it's like he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know what to do, and he's sticking with the same players again. And these are the same things that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was criticised for.
He's gone into
players when he's playing shit.
He's gone into survival mode, hasn't he? Like, rather than go, right, what can I change and what can I get to work to sort of get the best? He's gone into survival mode, and he's just picked Maguire, McTominay, Rashford, maybe a couple of others, and just gone, you're my soldiers on the front line, and you're going to get me out of this. And he's kind of sort of not even thinking about like small tactical changes, little movements in formations, that kind of stuff. He seems to have abandoned that completely, and he's just gone siege mentality, backs against the wall, and we'll fight our way out of this. And it's like, that's what relegation teams do. That's what the likes of Burnley, likes of Everton do. They do that sort of shit. Like, if
There
you're
is
trying
a
to
fine balance between that, though, Sam.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to instill discipline in the team, and you're trying to set by certain standards, how do you bring guys back in?
Our aims are supposed to be like European places, like Champions League, and maybe win a trophy. Like, no offense to Everton, no offense to Burnley, Sheffield United, but their aim is to survive. They want to survive in this league. That's what their aim is. So they have to have this mentality. It's like everybody against us and we survive. United should be doing that. And then on top of that, the players he has picked ain't doing it for him anyway. Rashford ain't showing up, isn't surviving, isn't working his ass off. McTominay isn't doing it. The only guy who's doing it is Harry Maguire. Everybody else is not fucking doing it.
The main question is it personnel or is it the manager? Is it the coaching? Because you look at like Eddie Howe, do you think Almiron on paper, Anthony Gordon and Isaac are much better players than the players we've got in front of the three? I don't think they're far better. That's what I mean. So it's the way they're drilled. It's just that front three for Newcastle work as hard as anything I've seen. Even the midfield, extremely hard working. And when you can't match that, it doesn't matter what fucking quality you've got.
It's player mentality, innit? Like, so player mentality, like, you look at Anthony Gordon. How much stick was he getting? Like, nobody made the move. Everybody's getting so much shit, so much stick. Proved them all wrong. He got all the shit, got all the stick, and he's stepping up to the plate and proving people wrong, scoring every single game. He's doing well. Almiron, same thing. Isaac, he's coming for 70 million. Unknown, blah, blah, blah. Dude's hitting it, and he's making his mark. If Rashford would have cost same amount as Sancho, say 70 million, say we bought him from someone for 70 million, the amount of stick he would be getting right now would be astronomical. It would be insane. But because he's an academy prospect, he gets a fucking buy. And it does my fucking head in. Same thing happens with McTominay. He gets a fucking buy. Nobody mentions the shite that they do. But Harry Maguire played shite, rightfully got criticised because he cost 80 million. But now he's playing well. The academy prospect just seems to get away with it. Just seems to get away scot-free, and it's driving me insane.
We have just had some breaking news, a report coming in now, which is very convenient in terms of the time. This coming in from the Telegraph. Eric Ten Hag and Anthony Martial were involved in a bust-up as Manchester United were beaten by Newcastle. Like I said, very convenient timing, and make of that what you will. But there's obviously a frustration amongst the squad, and there's frustration in the chat as well. So let me just read out a few comments. And
just before you do it, I've seen a comment from Ten Hag as well. He asked about Marcus Rashford's arms. He said, "I'll talk to him, but not in front of the media."
Interesting.
So,
will you drop him? That's what we want. Like, will you drop him?
You're
like
asking
how...
Marcus Rashford what? Arms?
Yeah, form.
Form.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right, Moondog saying not making fun or trying to poke a bear here, but this is exactly what it was like watching Liverpool pre-Klopp, and everything changed once we got Alisson, Verge, and at the time Fabinho. Tim99, who is a Real Red Ultra member. If you want to become a member, click the link in the chat, in the description, sorry. Look like a team of ghosts tonight. Absolutely agree with that. Vince is saying season over to look that way, and unfortunately we're going to have to win the Europa Cup. I don't think we're going to win.
I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be in the fucking Europa League.
The thing is, though, financially, if we're not in it, we're fucked.
I don't give. Fuck it. Let's get relegated. Fuck it. I don't care anymore.
Brian Casey is in the chat saying the worst thing about that performance is that Maguire was our best player. Yeah. I think him and Shaw, I felt sorry for him at times. He was just defending everything. Yeah. Like, just playing his best. And the attackers let him down. The midfielders let him down as well.
And the goalkeeper was having an anxiety attack after the fucking game as well.
Yeah. Lewis is saying there was players far worse than McTominay tonight, to be fair. Rashford, Martial, the list is endless. I think you can throw them all into a box, mate, to be honest with you. About 8-9 players, you can throw them all in the same category. Just off the ball work, just no way near up to the scratch. When you play Newcastle as well, like, you've seen how they play, how intense they are. You have to match that. You don't match it. You don't even give yourself half a chance.
Well, that comes from a happy camp, basically. But carry on.
Yeah. Is Ten Hag trying to show Sir Jim that he needs investment in the squad and the areas where we need it? But I get your point, Brian, but we've spent 200 million quid. We have spent money.
These are the kind of comments like that I really don't understand. This is people just making excuses for the manager. You can't tell me that you're playing crap on purpose so that the board can see that you need money. Like, that's ridiculous. Just call it as it is. Call it like it is, man.
When we played Brighton early on in the season, we got beat 3-1. They played us off the park. That team was worth about 40 million quid. I think the team that they had out. So money for me after watching that, you have to see principles and them being drilled. Like, you have to see certain patterns on the pitch, and you just don't get that. Rashford is terrible. Sadly, ain't going anywhere. Got to agree with you. As someone who played left back all them years ago, it was always frustrating when the midfield don't pick up and you're expected to defend, run from the wings, and pick up runners all at once. Tim saying I'm so disappointed with Rashford. So they show fight after the game. And then NT, who thinks new to the channel, please do subscribe if you are new, and leave a like on the video if you thought that was a shit show.
Join the misery.
Gets played. Yeah. Rashford gets played when he should be dropped, but to say we don't criticise him isn't right. Just look anywhere online, you'll see Rashford out spammed everywhere. Same with McTominay. I think he does get criticised, but
I meant the media. I don't mean fans. Like so. The media, because you saw, like, if you look at TNT, you see where they were talking about how good of a game Scott McTominay was having on TNT against Galatasaray, and you're like, what the fuck? What game are you watching? Where you think he's having a good game? So he never gets criticised. Like, I know fans do, but like pundits, they just refuse to, and it does my head in.
The weird thing is, lads, is do we not feel like we have been in this situation with the past 5 managers where they have a good first season and then the second season we're sat here saying, I'm not sure, I don't know if the players are buying into his philosophy, I'm not sure. So again, I always feel like it's a thing to go to the regime that's above or whatever. It's nothing to do with that. The performance in general today was shocking. But what do you do at this point? Do you bring in another manager? Like, is it just an interim to the end of the season? Like, what the fuck do you do? What's the plan going forward? Now?
Who is available that you could bring in that would change things?
Well, we don't know, guys. We don't know. But then that is why you have a team to be able to.
But there is no team. There is no team.
Well, yeah, but then we're getting, so if everything goes to plan and we get Sir Jim Ratcliffe to come in with this so-called Ineos team, right? That everything they do is analytical. None of us here, I had no idea who De Zerbi was before he joined Brighton.
No.
Did you know?
Nope.
Exactly. Nope. So there's managers out there coming up, right? Nobody knew Xabi Alonso was going to be this good. I'm not saying go and get him, but the point I'm making is that just because we haven't seen them doesn't mean that they don't exist out there. Now, I wouldn't be quick to get rid of this manager now until a proper search has been done and the analysis and all that. And let's see how he fares under the new regime, because now it seems like he's wielding too much power and he's answerable to no one. Until he's answerable to someone and someone says, listen, we have a sporting director and says, listen, what you're doing, somebody to actually question him, because it seems like he's not getting questioned by anyone right now. And that's not good when you surround yourself with yes men. There was a time during this game, the camera cut to him and Van de Gaag, and both of them are shaking their head. Do you remember that?
I literally remember that point. I was in the pub watching with my girlfriend, and it looked like he was asking him a question.
Yeah,
like,
and he was like, mate, what the fuck?
Yeah, you tell me.
Yeah, and Eric Ramsey is sat like two people next, and he's just looking like, lads, what are we doing? Like, there was literally no hope. So he needs to be answerable to someone. Now, this is how I feel about it. But I don't think we should just blindly stick with this guy and just feel, oh, there's no one out there, so we're stuck with him. And we have there will be people lining up to take his position. And if they can show us that they can actually progress this team, then why not? Because he's shown us now that he's not willing to change anything he's doing. We're going to see exactly the same thing when we face Chelsea or whoever it is we're playing next. So,
do you think though they will bring in someone, or do you not just think it'll be an interim to the end of the season and then it's a write-off anyway?
I don't know. But whatever.
That's why I don't want to do it, because I'm like, I don't want to see fucking Fletcher popping in as interim or someone coming in. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be arsed with it. We've seen this rodeo before. Let's not forget the back.
We've seen it before, but then what are we going to do? We're just going to stick with this guy. Like, the problem we're having right now is that this system or lack of system that we have is over-reliant on individual brilliance. There's nothing else. The system doesn't help anyone else. It's just you have to be a good player. And if your players don't turn up, like Marcus Rashford isn't turning up, or Martial or Bruno, whoever, if your players don't, then you're stuck. There's nothing else you can do. And this is the problem. And we're stuck with this guy. So I don't see any changes happening in terms of our fortune. And yeah, this is what I already, after I told you guys last, is, man.
Is that?
I think we stopped there. I think we're all good though.
Are we okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just broke up a little bit there. Just mention your last bit there, Chibi. What you said, just repeat it because we missed it. It skipped out.
Oh, sorry. What last bit?
Sorry.
The point. No, it's all right. It's all right. What was you going to
Yeah, I just on the bit before they skipped out with Chivy and stuff like that. It's with the manager, like it is one thing. Yeah, there's other managers out there and individual brilliance, etc. That kind of stuff. The problem is under the current regime, how many times have we gone, this manager's not working, got rid of him, and then we've just wrote a season off? It's happened so many times. We're just writing seasons off at will here. Like Ollie, when we got rid of him, Ragnick wrote the season off, and we got rid of Jose, wrote the season off. Got rid of Louis van Gaal, and we were like basically going to fire him, even though he won an FA Cup. It's just like David Moyes. All right, we'll write the season off. It's just like, how many times can we do this? Like, how many times can we just go, nah, it's not working, write the season off? Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying stick with him blindly and just give him everything. Like, I don't think that's the right thing either. But it's just like, I don't know where we go at this point. Like, I don't know what to do.
to use your thing, Chivet, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing every time. That's the exact same with that. We get a manager, first year, second year, go, get rid, chop and change, same cycle again. I feel lost. Genuinely, I feel lost with this club because I'm like, there's no clarity or future or hopes at the minute because everything's so up in the air. With tactics on the pitch just aren't being shown. The players aren't committing to it. So it's just, there's nowhere to go at this minute. This is the most, not the most, because obviously we've had Ollie and Ragnick, etc. But it's one of the most lost I've ever felt as a fan watching the club.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
Yeah,
like what's next.
This one hurts because he was supposed to be the long-term thing. We're only going to Solskjaer. He was the interim, and then they made him the thing, and then there were still question marks there.
He was the former legend, though, wasn't he? It's like, the legend, former there, and that nostalgia sort of kept him for about a year and a half, didn't it?
Going, yeah. With Jose, like you already knew, like he'd never spent 3 seasons at a club. Like, he'd never gone.
But you thought he'll win a title, like he'll get us a title, and then
not a title, but.
Yeah, so this was the first guy who actually fit that role, and after last season, the success of last season, it was something that we could build on. So it's like the hope that kills you because we saw everything that happened last season. All his decisions were spot on.
In-game as well.
In-game decisions, that's what I'm talking about.
His transfers as well. His transfers
were spot on.
Yeah.
The team was together. There was a togetherness. Everyone was happy. Things were happening. We got unlucky a few times with injuries, suspensions, but we still managed to come in third and win a trophy and got to a final. Yeah. Do you understand? So everything was so for us to face this now, the disappointment now, it's just heartbreaking. And because of everything I'd seen last season, what frustrates me is that I know that he has the tactical ability to turn things around. I've seen it. We've seen it. It's just the stubbornness that gets to me, and that's what breaks my heart. Like just seeing him doing this and knowing that he can actually change this, but refuses to.
There's a quote here for the manager saying, "This team is resilient. We have a plan and we keep going. I will talk with my team, but we stayed in the game at the end. We had some good chances. We scored a goal, but it was offside, so it could have been a draw."
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where's the resilience of this team? Like, where's the resilience of this team?
I think it's just putting up face in it. It's just kind of like it's one of them.
Yeah.
There's no resilience in this team. We fucking give away games. Like we actually sabotage ourselves in game and give games away to the opposition. Like every fucking week. Like there's no resilience here.
But we have to talk about that because I strongly believe that this comes from a break in harmony in the dressing room. Like these guys aren't together. When did you see the camera when it cut to the bench? How everyone looked like.
I saw Varane when Maguire. So when Anthony scored, and he held Maguire, Varane was on the bench. He was laughing. It looked like he was like smirking a little bit on the bench.
It's like the team is completely broken, and the Newcastle players looked inspired, right? They looked that was an inspired performance, and their manager, they were together with the manager, together with the fans. It was togetherness. Those players aren't ridiculously better than ours. They're not even better than ours.
No, not.
But they could have inspired, because that is a unified dressing room. That's a team, backs to the wall performance. They have injuries just as much as we do.
Yeah.
They've played 90 minutes in Paris. Come here to play another 90 minutes together. Made one change with Richie at the end. That's together.
I was looking at the bench, Newcastle's bench, and I was like, I don't even recognise hardly any players on that.
No.
They had a 17-year-old in their midfield.
Yeah.
Just running the show like it was nothing.
Balling. It was balling. Yeah. And then we have Kobe, and we left him isolated there. I'm so sorry. I know I've talked a lot.
Mate, go for it. Roll it off the tongue. Go for it.
There's just one thing I noticed, and I'd just like to say before I forget. Scott McTominay. There were two. I've been on McTominay.
Get to fuck with McTominay.
Right, and from the start of the game, he was meant to be on. It was clear that he was meant to be on Joe Linton, and Joe Linton ragdolled him. But that's another discussion. Now, there's 2 instances where Newcastle, where we had the ball. It was a dead ball situation where we had the ball. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to lose your man when we have the ball, correct? Right? He runs to Joe Linton. When we have the ball, it was a throw-in. Everyone's running. He finds Joe Linton and runs to him. And I remember Aaron saying this, and I've heard this a few times already, that McTominay hides.
He does.
I've heard people say that quite a few times.
Does it all the time.
Right? And for the past 2 games I've been on, he hides. He ran to Joe Linton, so he was not an option to get the...
Also, when he has possession as well, he gets possession, and instead of looking and going like, what's the forward pass, or what's the most like intricate pass I can play, he'll just go to like whichever player is closest to him, like within 2 yards, and then just knock it to them.
Yeah.
And then go away. He did it to Kobe about 8 times. Like, Kobe's trying to advance the ball, and he gives him the ball, and then Scott McTominay just gives it straight back to him. And he like
these core players that we're mentioning though, like Rashford, McTominay, even Martial could be criticised today as well, and there's a few others. These have been here for years. These have been doing this for years under many different managers. I mean, they've probably played under 4 managers at this point, like different ones like Ragnick, Ten Hag, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer,
Van Gaal as well.
Rashford and Martial on one half. So that's why I'm very torn as a fan, because I'm like, I get on the pitch, we're not seeing tactics, I'm not seeing a plan, I get it, but then the players aren't committing to it, and they've also done this under previous managers. So is it just the managers completely getting it wrong, or is it the players again throwing the manager under the bus a little bit? I'm kind of like, you know what I mean? It's hard to really find clarity within that situation. I have absolutely no idea, and I have no idea what the plan is now for the season. I don't know what we do. We're already out of the Carabao, basically out of the Champions League. The league, we're now 8th, I believe, because Newcastle just got above us with that win, so we've gone down to 8th, and then I don't know what happens if other teams win tomorrow as well. And we've still got Liverpool to play at Anfield, we've got Chelsea to play, and we've got Bayern Munich at home. So if you think it's bad at the minute, by January,
can I just say,
really bad.
That Liverpool game might be a reckoning. That might be it.
That might be the maybe.
If this continues on, like we play like this for the next couple of games, I don't know how many games it is till Liverpool, but whatever it is, if we continue to play like this and then we go to Liverpool and we get a 7-0 type hiding, that might be it. That might be Ten Hag's reckoning, and he has to now look at it and be like, I need to change things. I need to be seen to be changing things, because if he continues on what he's doing for the next couple of games, then we go into the Liverpool game with the same players still playing and the same shit still happening, we're gonna get absolutely destroyed. It's gonna get absolutely, like, it's gonna be like World War II level destruction. Like, it's not gonna be good.
Look, we'll have to wrap this up soon because we've been live nearly 40 minutes, I think. But just to kind of, because it has been a very negative review, and like, you know, rightfully so, because it's been a shit. Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, it was at least something to grab onto, because I thought them two were solid, and it's nice to have Shaw back. Whether, I don't know, are there any other positives at all, lads, that you can find throughout that performance from anyone?
Wan-Bissaka, I thought had moments. He made that block that started, you know what I mean? Like,
he was isolated though, weren't they? The wing backs, both of them.
But I thought when I saw the lineup, I thought him being on Gordon was going to be like, that's it for Gordon. Like,
yeah, I agree with that.
I thought he was going to mark him out, but Gordon got the better of him a few times, and I think it was because he was, a lot of the times he was caught in like no man's land, basically, in between Isaac and Gordon. But yeah, Gordon had the better of him a couple of times.
I agree. A lot of worrying things. I will be doing the pros.
It was Maguire and Shaw.
Yeah,
and
the only thing.
With Shaw, like calmness. Oh my God, he's so. I love seeing that when players are just so calm on the ball. Like it was a joy.
You know what? I don't want to. I really like. I love Kobe Mainoo, but I don't want to see him playing this team. If this is what's going to happen, because he's just gonna get destroyed. Like confidence is gonna just be absolutely fucked. His like development's gonna be fucked. He's just gonna like it's gonna like make things worse for him.
It's very simple. Just move move McTominay or whoever it is. Just play 2 fucking midfielders, 2 holding midfielders like you did last time. It worked before. Why? What makes you think?
I don't get the experiment. I don't get why he's persisting with it.
Play 2 fucking holding midfielders who are good with the ball.
It's bizarre. It is bizarre. I really don't get it.
We saw it work. It almost got us 2 trophies.
Yeah.
And if we didn't get any injuries, who knows what would have happened with the season? We might have been second. I don't know.
It's the away games that worry me a lot. I mentioned it before, like 12 games, lost 11, drew 1 or something. I haven't won a single game.
You can only play a single pivot, a single defensive midfielder if you've got a player at the level of Rodri. It's the only way it works. Like we haven't got that guy. We haven't got that guy.
But even if you look at players like Bernardo Silva and Foden, how hard they work when they're off the ball. Even I see Bernardo Silva play at left back.
Yes.
Imagine trying to put McTominay at left back. He doesn't have the awareness. He doesn't have the intelligence to do it. This is what I'm saying. I think the actual level of intelligence throughout the team is that we don't have smart players.
Yes, and they make it easy for everyone. They make it easy for themselves. So even if you have Rodri, you have it. Whenever they press as a team, like in packs. It's like they're hunting in packs, and then they press. So Rodri, the defensive midfielder is not just tasked physically all the time because he has people buzzing around him to win the ball back. So it's a simple thing. And then there was a time when Amrabat came on, he was there, and then McTominay and Bruno were far up, and I was like, this is insanity.
The Galatasaray game was a prime example, right, where we're 3-1 up, and you're like, right, can we just control this game now?
Just control it.
Can we slow it down a little bit?
Make it boring. Just make it boring. Just fucking bore the life out of me.
Basic shit. Keep the ball ticking over. And it's like, no, keep going. Like, it's stupidness. It's not stubborn. It's stupidness. Because now you're starting to lose games. Right. We'll have to wrap it up there, lad. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. There was like 40-odd people in the chat. Please do leave a like on the video if you thought that was absolutely shit. The pros and cons will be out tomorrow, where I have a detailed look rather than just being a little bit reactionary because I'm fresh off the game. So I'll have a deep look into it, look at the positives and negatives. There's going to be a lot of cons, I can tell you that for free. But yeah, that'll be out about 4 o'clock tomorrow. And what day is it tomorrow? Sunday. And then we may potentially have a new show as well. So stay locked in, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Subscribe to the channel. And yeah, we'll see you for the next fucking game.
I was going to say, Kayla said your Greek food's here, so.
Yeah, Greek food. Yeah, so that's my cue. I'm going to head off. Cheers to Chivy and Sam for joining me as always in these depressing reviews, and we'll see you guys in the next one.